Warren presents Warren's Christmas. Season 2, Episode 14. During the last day of school before Christmas break, Warren and his classmates were making Christmas decorations for the holiday. The kids were even more excited, because there was going to be a Christmas play hosted by the school, and was going to start after the school day. Warren did not want to see the Christmas play, though. He was only looking forward to having fun at home during his holiday break, and dismisses it. Warren was getting bullied by this one classmate for it, but he got out of his way. When Warren got home, he heard his mom having a mental breakdown. It turned out that her sister, Vertica, has called her, and said that her two daughters, Veronica and Manevli, asked Warren to give her son Willie some candy, which has nuts in it. Vertica appeared to be upset while explaining it all to Anna. Even Vertica was upset with her two daughters, and she had to tell her husband Joe about it. On the contrast, Warren's mom told her husband Darius about it. In the end, this was Veronica's and Manevli's fault, which Vertica already knows. Willie's allergy situation was the reason why there was no Thanksgiving tradition between the Jennifer family and the Vallison family, which is Vertica's family. Vertica forgave her two daughters for what happened to Willie. She said that even though they should have checked in with Warren's Halloween candy, she decides to let them go with her to see decorated houses with Christmas lights. So that night, Warren and his cousins got to see many brightly decorated homes and residences. The next morning, Warren and his cousins went to an Aspen-like place where they can go sledding, and they thanked Vertica for bringing them there. Warren tried to make a snowman, but he couldn't even figure out where to start off, so he made an angel by moving his four limbs on the snow-filled ground. After all the cliché stuff, they were now ready for sledding, and this time, all four agreed to get on and ride down. They found a hill, and they started getting ready. As they finally started sledding down, Warren was experiencing what it was like to be hot with cold air, and got chills down his spine. However, the sledding ended with all four of them being drifted down a cold lake, and they had to get washed off when they got back home. Warren was later driven back to his home so he could go to church with his guardians. Warren and his parents went to church at 11 in the morning to help the community make toys for poor families and children, with the help of other participants. Adults were to make toys, and kids like Warren were to paint wooden toy cars for the poor children. Warren painted many wooden cars and toys, including wooden toy trucks, action figures, planes, and other wooden material appropriate for children. After that, it was time for the church service where they pray and honor the Lord by eating sacrificing bread and drink a red liquid. The previous time Warren did this, it resulted in a bad outcome, but this time, he felt confident eating and drinking all of it. The church had another announcement that was about a Christmas event held at church, and it was a long one. Warren and other kids were sent to a playroom while the minister talked to the parents. Warren was not into playing with the other kids, because he had to share and take turns playing the toys that belonged to the church, so he snuck out and went outside. Luckily for him, none of the people didn't seem to be naggy around a kid walking around by themselves, so Warren went to a back alley where he found a cart full of toys. It was not just toys either, there were also painted wooden toy vehicles in there, too. Warren realized they were for the poor families and children, so he took a small bag containing some wooden cars he painted. When church was over, Warren lied and told his mommy and daddy that he earned wooden toy cars for participating and behaving well. Apparently, Warren's guardians did not know they were for the to drive. The next day, Warren was dropped off at his Aunt Vertica's house so he can get ready to go visit his cousin Willie. Vertica's husband Jim went to buy Christmas presents, so it was clear he couldn't come today. At the hospital, Vertica gave Willie some Christmas cookies and some toys to make him feel better. When Warren got a good look at him, Willie's face was bluntly light red, and Vertica could tell that Warren and her kids felt bad for him. Warren gave Willie some of the wooden painted cars he decorated back in church, and he seemed to have fun with them. Warren decided to keep the rest with him to play with at home. After a trip to the hospital, Warren and his cousins got home, and at one point, Vertica said that she would appreciate it if they all made a "welcome back" or "get well soon" card for Willie. As she goes to get some material, Warren's cousins went to their room to do their own thing. That's when there was a knock on the door, but only Warren heard it since he was right by it. When he opened the door, he was surprised to see 3 people standing at the front door, and they all started singing a Christmas song. Warren tried to signal to them to keep it down a little, but they didn't get the message. One of them asked Warren if his mommy or daddy is there, but he tricks them into making them think his parents were there, and says they are busy. He is then given a bag of cookies, and takes them before his cousins could see them. Warren did not want to share them, so he hid them in his overalls and thanked the 3 people for their carol. Warren got home around 7 p.m., and right when he was getting ready to sleep for the night, he heard singing from outside. He looked out the window, and suspected it was coming from the front door. He was surprised to hear singing at his door, and he thought there was a burglar coming to get him. So he called 911 and said that there is creepy singing at the door. When the dispatcher realized it was a kid at the other end, they asked them what the singing sounds like. That is when Warren let them know by placing the phone on the spot near the front door. The dispatcher asked Warren to go to his mommy and daddy to tell them about the burglar, but right at that moment, the connection got cut off because of the freezing cold outside. Warren got freaked out, and didn't want to hear the Christmas song that was being played because he thought it sounded eerie. He went to go tell his mom, but the door was locked, so he went to his room and covered his ears until he fell asleep. It turns out there was no burglar, it was just other different people playing a Christmas carol. In the morning, Warren was told that there is going to be a family Christmas party for them and their friends, and had him put on his clothes. Around 6 p.m., the Christmas party was getting started, and Warren and his guardians arrived there around 7 p.m. It wasn't just a party, it was also a Christmas dinner party. Warren, Veronica, Manevly, and Brandon were excited, but Vertica felt empty. Warren found out that this was a Christmas party filled with his relatives and people they know. He went on to paint wooden houses with his cousins and other kids in the living room. When Warren was done painting 2 houses, he got bored and went to the guest room to get some Christmas food to eat. Upon entering the guest room, he found nobody there, but he did found another Christmas tree, which had envelopes all around it. It was a giving tree thing where people put anonymous notes that states what gift is needed to be received. Warren didn't know what the giving tree thing was, but when he took a look at one of the notes, he made a note for himself, asking for candy, and placed it on the Christmas tree. Around 9 p.m., Warren and his parents went to go home so they can go to sleep. A day later, during the night, Warren and his cousins went to see Santa, ask for what they want, and take a picture with him. In the car, Veronica, Brandon, and Manevli were not in the mood to argue whether Santa is real or not. For Warren, he didn't really think too much about it. When they got to the mall, they waited in line for Santa. When it was finally their turn, they asked for what they wanted. Warren tells Santa he wants candy, some toy cars, action figures, books, and paper. As they tell what presents they want, Vertica carefully listens to the four of them and writes down what they are asking for. At one point, Warren asks Santa for his classmate bully to die. Hearing this, Santa reasons with him and says he can take the situation lightly by telling an adult. To make Warren feel better, he got to take a picture with Santa, and so did his cousins, too. Warren got jealous that his cousins got the idea from him. But the other people got their pictures taken with Santa before him. So Warren asked for another picture with Santa, to which Santa agreed to. After the Santa thing, Warren and his cousins got to check out many Christmas material and sightsee many Christmas toys they found amazing. Brandon saw a nutcracker, and urged the three others to come look. While Veronica and Manevli found it nice, Warren thought it looked creepy, and didn't want to be around nutcrackers anyways. After a long night out, it was time to go home. The next morning, Warren woke up to find his cousins making nice cards for Willie, and Warren started making one, too. Vertica got out a picture of Warren taking a picture with Santa. When she found the second one, she used it to crop Warren out of the photo, and put an image of her son Willie on it so he wouldn't feel left out. Warren drew a picture of Willie in heaven, and while Vertica was glad to see it, she was afraid that her youngest son wouldn't survive, so she tried not to think much about it. At night, Veronica and Manevli asked Warren if he wants to watch a Christmas movie, and he says yes. Brandon didn't feel like watching one, so he just went to his room. Veronica got the remote and put on a Christmas movie she had heard of. At that point, Warren remembered about the Christmas cookies he got, and ate them while watching the movie. The Christmas movie was called Bright Christmas, and it was about this young girl who waits for Christmas in the month of December as she enjoys family time. Halfway through the movie, Warren noticed something odd about the movie. First of all, there were long pauses after each introduction to the next day in the sequences, and second, there were static sounds heard in the background. What made him more uneasy was the fact that each night whenever the family was asleep, a series of thuds and sounds can be heard from the living room, and this was all coming from the movie. The movie was rated TVG in general, so Manevli thought it was just a suspense movie. During one scene in the movie, it shows the night before Christmas, showing that the girl is asleep. When the scene cuts to the living room, it shows a dark figure entering from the window, and putting Christmas presents under the tree. When the dark figure leaves, the Christmas tree light switches off, resulting in a black screen. Warren was already afraid about what was going to happen next, so he covered his ears and shut his eyes, and from there, he finally fell asleep, not seeing what happened next. The next day, Warren, Brandon, Veronica, and Manevli were encouraged to sing a Christmas carol in front of neighbors' houses, adding that they might earn money for it. All four of them were skeptical about it, especially Warren. But Boudica said that Willie is her son and she does not want to lose him. The four were uneasy to go up to random people's houses, but felt bad about Willie, so they did what she asked them to. Boudica knew that kids singing a Christmas carol is what people want to see, so she got some instruments from her husband's friend, and started teaching them how to play the instruments. During the first try, they didn't get the hang of it, so they were taught by a professional. Warren was playing the trumpet, Brandon was playing the drums, Veronica was playing the jingles, and Manevli was playing the violin. Warren was glad to play the trumpet, because that meant he wasn't going to be singing. However, he mistaken the trumpet as a clarinet. So he was the only one to be taught for a long time. Boudica was getting frustrated, but eventually, the four got the hang of it, and they started going to people's houses. For example, they earned $20 for playing well, despite some halts. After going to 7 houses, they went to go to one more house, and it awkwardly ended with the homeowner calling Boudica's bluff, saying that she used her kids to get a smile out from adults. The homeowner then gave them money before wishing them a Merry Christmas. They ended up with more money than they thought. Around afternoon, Boudica got Warren and her children in the car to drive to Warren's home, so her kids can wish his parents a Merry Christmas. During the night before Christmas, Santa Claus is sledding up and down in the sky, but unbeknownst to him, one of the presents dropped from his sleigh. It falls and hits a kid, who turns out to be one of Warren's bullies. As the bully dies on the spot, the present's top falls off, revealing the present to be a spray. It was not just any normal spray, it was a fuck-off spray that is intended to keep bullies and a-holes away. In the morning, Warren was woken up by his mother, and was told Santa brought him presents. Warren got excited, and went to the living room to open his gifts. He got the stuff that he wanted, and even got some candy that he was asking for. Warren and his parents took pictures of themselves, and had a nice time. As for Boudica, she got to meet her son again, and wished him a Merry Christmas. She also got him gifts and toys that he liked. Warren's family tree had a happier time in the holidays with all the wishes they got, including Willie feeling better, as Boudica prayed for. The end.